gets the same access, no matter where you're born, no matter where you live. This is the future of the internet. This is on-chain.
And we're live. Greetings once again. Welcome to another session of Building on Base. And this is our place where we update you guys on the latest on base, the latest news, some ideas on how to build, hacks, debugs, you name it all. Okay. So I'm your host, Mr. Gwes, and hopefully I'll be joined by my colleague Lloyd. And before that, let me play a quick disclaimer and then we'll start heading into what's happening lately. Okay, so hang a second.
Today's
There we go.
conversation is for information and educational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, technical, or legal advice. The views expressed are our own and do not represent Base, Coinbase, or any affiliated platforms.
Okay, we are live, we are back. And welcome, Mr. Lloyd. How are you doing? And welcome to all our viewers. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Google
If anybody
BNB.
wants to
Hi,
comment,
everyone.
okay, I was just going to talk about commenting. Sorry, Lloyd, actually, I cut you off.
No, go
Okay, I was
ahead.
just going to say, yeah, I was going to say, if anyone wants to comment, if you log in from the actual Based Southern Africa X account, so that's x.com/based Southern AF. If you're logging in from there and watching this from there, that's where you can comment. And when you comment within the live stream, we'll be able to see your comments on our side and we can interact with you via the live. So you can post your comments, you have any questions or suggestions, or you have something that you've launched or you've built and you want people to have a look at, then you can paste in the comments and then we'll talk about it and engage like that. And then if you want one-on-one, rather direct engagement, or you want to come onto these live streams and share your screen, you are welcome to. So you need to reach out in our socials as well. And we normally get people to come on to the Thursday one, which is the builder office hours, where you can share your screen, talk about what you're building, etc. Okay. Now let's hand over to Lloyd. Let's just hear from Lloyd. Lloyd, how you doing, my guy? What's been happening since the last few? When was it? We last spoke on Thursday. Yeah. What's happened
Yeah,
since
last
then? What you've been
Thursday.
up to?
Yeah, no, I've been all right, man. Busy as usual. Been playing around with some of the new models to just kind of reiterate on like my old projects. So there's a few projects that I had that I was just um, updating, if I should say, just to give them a new feel. And yeah, because I had forgotten about them, but they were pretty dope projects. So I just gave them a little bit of an upgrade and
Mhm.
fixed some of the errors that um, I was having in the previous builds. But yeah,
Okay.
also spend time with like my family. So yeah, it was also
Yeah.
dope.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. And the projects you're talking about, is it like apps or it's just AI sort of?
They're kind of like a mixture. It was the one that I was working on today earlier was my Veritas platform. So it's AI mixed with like Base. So Base for payments, logging in, then it's got ZK Sync and
Yeah.
a few other zero knowledge features, and it's got AI mostly for just testing purposes. But it's a data set platform. So what it does is it gets your data, and then it verifies it to make sure that it passes a few of like the compliance I'll say sections or certificates that are enabled for AI companies to start like following in like the coming year. So yeah, I was just touching up on that.
Okay, nice. Yeah, nice one, man. On my end, I've just been building that app I showed you guys last week. I've just been improving it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm about to add the base stuff. So I've just been working on, I always build from the front end first, right? So I always build, I actually build like a prototype on lovable.dev,
Yeah.
or on AI Studio, Google AI Studio. I find that's easier for me because then it builds like, a very modern front end for apps. So that's what I always go for. And I always build like just the look and the feel without a back end or without much functionality, just maybe
Yeah.
one or two click throughs, that type of thing. So that's where I've been building for quite a while, and then I take it to VS Code. Obviously, I push to GitHub, and then from there, I take it to VS Code, and then I add the, environment variables, deploy it to Vercel from there, and I add like, the backend, database, APIs, etc. I let Claude handle all of that, And then when I want to like integrate like more front end from VS Code, I normally, especially from the UI, I normally use, because you can select the different AI agent to help you build. I normally
Yeah.
select, the Google 3.1, Gemini 3.1, sorry, to build some of the front end elements. And then I use Claude Sonnet to kind of like fix, any of the stuff like that's not sitting in the right place or whatever. I use Claude Sonnet 4.6 for that. And then I use Claude Haiku 4.5 to push to my GitHub or to do some like basic little things. Because Haiku is fast, but it's not precise. But it's good for like if you want to push to your GitHub or you want to deploy to Vercel and it's having issues, you can try and get it to do basic things, So yeah, so that's how I build to try and also conserve
Yeah.
my AI tokens because now we're being rate limited. I don't know if you've seen on VS Code.
Yo,
I'm on a
it's
GitHub Copilot Pro, but
it's
you
it's
tell me,
it's not just GitHub. So I found the same thing with like
yeah,
Windsurf, right? So
yeah,
I paid for like my Windsurf. I think that was 2 days ago. Uh, and
hmm
I thought, I'm going to keep using the old prompt style. Yeah, it's not that way. It's now, there's a lot of rate limiting. There's like
like,
it's like a daily and a weekly rate
bro,
limit. And the
that
only
is so
reason why I
stupid.
actually the only reason why I actually even went to like test this out on like Windsurf was because I saw everybody else had um was using like this new type of like billing system or pricing system. So I thought, oh, Windsurf was the
Yeah,
only one that had that prompt thing, so I can sit and work on a project like the whole day if I have to, But
yeah,
like with the new system, you can't use like the frontier models, like
mm,
there's like yeah, you get rate limited, so you only have
yeah,
like a certain amount of like um prompts to use.
mm,
So I'm guessing this is because all the other big AI companies are pushing this out because of just how much the big models like cost. So they have to
yeah.
regulate the
And I
usage.
think it's also because of the proliferation of like OpenClaw, where AI agents are building 24/7, 365, So I think there's a lot of people running like multiple AI agents building, so where in the past you had human beings building, right? We could only prompt so many times in one day, in one sitting. You could almost like predict human behavior. You can predict how many prompts an individual could push,
Yeah.
in their building. But now you have AI agents, and I could have one API key, and I could run 4, 5, 10 agents using the same API key, and they wait for the other one to push, and then another one. So whereas a human being could maybe try, maybe let's say, let's assume 10 prompts per
Yeah.
minute or whatever, right? Or rather, that's a bit much. But let's say 5 prompts per minute, right? And
Yeah.
AI agents, you can run 10 in parallel, and they'll do that in 10 seconds, one every second. So you can imagine how much the AI systems are being overwhelmed by open closed systems. So they have to rate limit, I think. But then I think they need to verify if you're human, and then allow us to work properly and rate limit the AIs, not us. So yeah, there's that issue there that is ticking me off, because now when you're building, now you have to think strategically now. You have to like see how many prompts you're gonna use to build certain elements, right? So now you have to check, like, instead of pushing one prompt to build one feature, try and think 4 or 5 steps ahead, and then put all those into one prompt, and then ask it to try and build that. So now you have to be
Yeah.
very economic with the build style. You have to be economic with the prompt style. You have to choose also which models that you're using, because they're also rate limiting Claude Haiku. Haiku was like the free tier. So if you go online, on the website, you'll see that Haiku is like the free one. If you go to GitHub Copilot and then you access Claude from there, Haiku is the free tier model. But now they're also rate limiting that. So the secret is to put it on auto. Let me show you guys, right? Because I did a bit of research, and I went to read up on a bit on this. I'm going to share my screen just now. And then it told me that I need to put it on auto.
Because
But
like
it's making the build process so slow, man. Okay, I'm freezing. Oh God.
yeah. No, I wanted to say, so like this new like rate limiting mostly applies to like the
Can you hear me,
frontier
Dave?
models, right? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying this new rate limiting kind of is only for like the big frontier models, right? If you're looking at if you're using platforms like
When you say
Tessa, I
frontier
think
models, sorry, what do you mean by
Composer,
that? What?
like
Mhm.
frontier models, I mean like the state of the art, like the best version of the models, like
When you say frontier
4.7.
models, what do you? No, it's
Can you
across
hear
the
me?
board. I'm being rate limited for. So I was saying I'm being rate limited for even using Claude Haiku, which used to be like the free tier model. You could prompt
Yeah,
your way
but
away with
because
Claude Haiku just a couple of
yeah,
weeks
you
ago,
could.
right?
Yeah, you could.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
for other
So
platforms, like
now,
if you're using like Windsurf, you can use Kimi 2.6. It's free for now. So even if you're rate limited, you can
okay.
continue. On Kesa, I think you can use Composer.
Mm,
It's um the free, not necessarily all the way free, but it's like the free model. So I think that should work
mm,
without any like rate limiting. Unless
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So on VS Code, when I did a bit of research on GitHub Copilot on this rate limiting issue, they said that if you switch it to auto, right, it then
Yeah.
allows, so it checks your rate limits, and then it uses some parts of this, it kind of like switch between whatever is free or whatever is not going to affect your rate limiting. So maybe it might use some GPT, whatever, and it might use something else like Haiku for some elements, and it won't use your premium ones too much. But I'm not sure how the rate limiting, is actually, because they also have a different weighted sort of like, you know, you can see like when you use Gemini, it does tell you that it's 1x. When you use Claude 4.6, it's 1x, and then Haiku is 0.31x. So meaning, you get more prompts with like a model like Haiku than you do with all these other ones. Yeah, but from what I've seen, when I kind of reached my rate limit, it gave me a notification to say I've used up 51% of my prompts,
Yeah.
for the day or for the week. It gave me a day and a weekly thing. But when I
Yeah,
did my
that's
research,
the
it said if
new.
you put it on auto, then you are able to prompt more. And I put it on auto, and the notification of the messages went away. So I was able to build without continuously getting those irritating messages that I've reached my limit, you know. But
Yeah.
I also increased my thinking on my there is this thing here where you can manage your usage. So I went to my dashboard, and then I increased my limit as well. Okay. So you can increase your limits. Okay, so this is not the right account. I think there's a different one. Aibo, this thing is charging me. I do not have a billing account on this one. Oh, no, I do. It's the right one. Okay. So I went and increased my budget over there. So yeah, so you can increase your budget over here. When you also reach your, you've used up your whatever. If you're on a subscription for the month, increase this one, maybe double it, and then you're able to also continue. But yeah, that's something that I think is gonna affect how we build. Yeah. Any pointers on that one as well, Lloyd? Any other pointers outside of using Kimi and the likes?
For now, I think the best thing you can do is because this new method of like rate billing takes us back to the old I would say it takes us back to like the old sport we were in. So I've mentioned before that a lot of people don't really pay attention to like prompt engineering, right?
Yeah.
It's something that uh, I would say isn't really looked at or talked about
Mm.
as much as it used to. But
Yeah.
when you look at like research that was done, I think that was a few weeks ago or last month. They said prompting the model will get it to still follow particular rules better than using anything else, because when these AI models are trained, the parameters are fixed, so it
Yeah.
means they still follow a particular type of context. So
Mm.
even if the model is like extremely smart, um, if you want to learn how to use it more, you can go to like the system cards in them. It will show you how to prompt, particular models. That's the reason why you find certain prompts that worked for like 4.5 might not really give you as much for like 4.7. So for those
Mm.
that want to save their tokens, figure out how to prompt your model better, so that rather than it returning and asking you more questions, for example, when you are prompting it, you tell it to be a bit more direct with like what you want. Because if it asks you a question, you prompting back is you finishing your prompt. So you're going to be
Yeah.
um, you're going to have to be a bit more smarter when it comes to like how you prompt your models.
Yeah. And I think, like you're saying, going back to the old way of doing things. So on my side, I've stopped like doing like run dev, npm run dev, using the AI. I now have to go back and type in, your npm run dev,
Yeah,
your Vercel prod. You now have to like go back to typing in to try and save on your, your prompting and your
yeah,
allowance. I think go back to the terminal now, guys, and actually start, running those from there instead of getting the AI to be able to do it for you, to deploy, to do all those things. So
yeah.
I'm going back
And
to
if you
that old
can, I
school
mean,
thing.
if you can afford it, you can also get the Max. the max plan. It's like $200 for it, so it gives you way more usage, to some extent. So yeah.
Yeah. But also, even if you're on the max plan, I think you want to use it conservatively because there's also a tier on that. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people that subscribe for the $200 Claude one, that's the max, right? They
Yeah,
were
the
complaining
max.
also about being rate limited, like for the day. So it looks like that's been around for a while,
Yeah.
But I saw someone else posted that there's a new tier for $1,200 that allows you to, so like they keep raising the prices, right? So now you used to be able to do quite more with $200. Now you probably have to pay $1,200 to be able to, go crazy.
Yeah.
But we are vibe coders, guys. A lot of people here are startups. A lot of people are in the early stages. So I guess a lot of it is relying on free tier stuff and lower level subscriptions because you probably haven't built enough revenue to be able to pay for big premiums. So it's just about being economic, using your terminal, and then excuse me, in your, like Lloyd was saying, prompt engineering, you need to give your thing more context. So instead of prompting one thing, think about two or three things and then combine it into one shorter prompt and allow it to be able to build and to think ahead, so that you're not prompting for every little thing, like move the E to the bottom or make this font bigger. You don't want to be doing that. You want to sort of like go with some inspiration or go and find
Yeah.
a picture of somewhere, and then when you come here, you give it an instruction that it will execute the first time, And then
Yeah.
with that said, I also noticed something that was like, it was failing to do certain things. I can't remember what it was, but something so basic. I was using it to, it was failing to build, or it was failing to deploy because it didn't build properly. And I realized that, like, the AI itself, when they rate limited, it goes back to the old behavior. You remember this time last year, around June, July last year, these AIs used to struggle with basic things like run build, or to deploy because it forgot
Yeah.
to actually build before it deploys. And I saw that last week, like this thing wasted two or three of my prompts when I asked it to run dev, and it tried to run and they failed. I go to the logs, then I copy the logs, can paste here, and then it says, "Oh, I forgot to build." I'm like, while they're rate limiting us, somehow it seems to be compromising performance. So these are some of the checks that you need to do using your terminal to do things like run build, run dev in your terminal, deploy to Vercel from there. So I think, we're going back to old ways where we're not relying on the AI to do everything, but we're going back to, doing some processes manually so that we can, be economic and not be rate limited. Yeah.
Yeah. Another way is if you have like good enough hardware, like I always say, you can always, download open source models that you can use.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
a way.
Okay. Nice one. And then something that I picked up that's on Base right now. So you see on the official Base account, which is at Base, they always have these sessions where they interview different founders and make those available. So you can check that out. So I see they've got something new as well. I didn't look at it in detail, but yeah, go and check this out, guys. They always have insights from these founders as well. Okay. And then those that are in countries where you can receive based, the delivery from the base store, just remember there is a base store where you can buy all this swag and stuff like that. I think it's shop.base.org, but it didn't deliver for our region. So I hope that will be addressed in due time. I haven't looked at it most recently, but I think when they launched it, we couldn't get deliveries to our side. Okay. Yeah, so that's what
Yeah.
I've picked up on Base. Okay, and then on the Base app, you guys might have noticed if you've got the old account that was linked to your on your Base app. So if you registered via Farcaster, you might have
Yeah.
noticed that you were locked out and you can't get back in. I still can't get back into the base app using my old Farcaster account. So it seems like it's picking up two of my other accounts that I registered online, or it also created another account for me to access the base app. So unfortunately, that's still a thing. I'm hoping they're fixing this bug. But yeah, so what you need to do, so if you can't get in, you need to go to your profile on the top
Mhm.
left and then click on base mode. Okay, so when you click on base mode, it enables it to access the base app. So if you're on an Android phone and there was an update recently and you saw that you were kicked out of your base app, go and click on profile, scroll down, and then you'll see, excuse me, you'll see the base mode. You enable that, then it will tell you log into an upgraded experience, and then you carry on, put in your password or whatever, and you'll be able to access your base app. However, it might not link your old base account, but if you have access on that base account, when you remove base mode, it will take you back to your old wallets, or it will show you a list of wallets, and then you can select your old one and you can move your assets. But otherwise, yeah, that's an issue that you might pick up there on the base app, which I've
Yeah.
picked up, and yeah, I'm sure it's a recent update, and they're gonna fix some of these things. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Anything on this,
Um,
Lloyd? On have you picked up anything on your end?
so from the last time when I checked, I haven't seen like any new additions from like what we spoke about the last time. I'm sure there's still more changes coming, but
Hmm.
yeah, from my side, I haven't really seen anything anything that's changed in the last day since we spoke on Thursday. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be a couple of more changes as we've seen, and we'll keep updating everybody immediately. We also get them. What I did notice though was that yesterday was the last day for the student track, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yes.
yeah, that's something interesting, because it means if you applied, then you have a chance of being picked, and your project has a chance of being you know uh, looked at and taking you to the uh, what do you call it, the
to the to the pitch.
yeah,
What do they call that in
to
San
pitch
Francisco?
in San
Yeah, where you
Francisco.
get to
Yeah,
pick
so
investors. Yeah,
yeah,
demo day. Is that what they call
demo
it?
day.
Yeah,
Yeah, demo day.
yeah,
So hoping everybody who's been watching, at least if you're a student, you did manage to find something that you're comfortable with, and something that you built, because I think it was the longest track out of all of them. So the students had like enough time. So I'm hoping a lot of students applied. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And good luck to all those that applied. And I
Yeah.
hope we'll get someone from our region, or to represent us, hopefully. So yeah, we'll be
Yeah.
keeping our fingers crossed for you guys.
Yeah. And
Okay.
if you submitted something and you're watching, feel free to post um, in the comments, and we'll be able to see your post. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then another thing I've picked up, right, is there's people still having issues with the base dashboard. So it's been giving errors for the last couple of days. I think we picked it up on Friday last week.
Yeah.
And I think the base team is they did say they were prioritizing it, so there might be a fix happening. Maybe it's been pushed. I'm not sure yet. But anyone trying to register their app on the base dashboard, a couple of people have been facing errors, and they haven't been able to sort of register their apps. And I think that's a fix that's going on. So there's likely some updates that the team has been working on, that they pushed. But yeah, there's always, bugs that come up as you're pushing new things. So
Yeah.
yeah, look out for that. And if you keep experiencing it, just be a little patient, and wait it out a bit, and you could hopefully to be fine. Okay, in the next few days. Okay,
Yeah.
and then another thing, I just want to show people like where to find, because I see sometimes people come up with ideas, right? Um,
Yeah.
say you have an idea and you think something needs to change on the base app. I'm just going to show you guys where to. I'll share my screen. Show you guys where you can make suggestions. Okay. So there isn't
Yeah.
a specific suggestion form, right? But you'll find that on the docs at the end of every, let's say, for example, somebody mentioned you wanted something to change in notifications, right? Let me open
Yeah.
notifications. So in a lot of these tools and that base provides, right, and templates and all that, if you usually scroll to the bottom and read through their docs, you will find somewhere where they ask you for your feedback. Okay, so you'll see it at the bottom here. Sometimes it's within the body where they can put a form for you to submit any changes, or they ask you for some feedback. But in the cases where they don't ask you for feedback, you'll see over here at the bottom where it asks you, was this helpful? And then it says suggest edits. That's if you see a problem with the actual document, you could obviously click suggest edits there for that specific page. And then you can, push some changes if you want. You can fork the repo and make those changes and submit. Or if you want to suggest raise an issue, you click raise an issue, and then it also take you to GitHub, and then you can type in like the issue that you've seen. So if it's an issue on base docs, you can label it properly. If you think notification system needs to be changed like this or like that, you could, type it in and submit. And then there's always people within the team that review these things. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
you create an issue on GitHub. You obviously have to be signed in, and then you submit that, and then the team will receive it, and they'll either reject or they will either accept it. And I think you can check all the issues that were raised over here. You can also check on the issues because some people might have raised the issue before. You can see all these issues that have been raised. And I think in some instances, when some issues are approved, I think you might be, eligible for some type of base rewards. I'm not quite sure, guys, but I know when you as they say, you build on base, you will be rewarded. So I think it's always good when you pick up something, you also run it by your community leads, that this is what you've picked up, you've submitted a pull request, and has it been approved? It's been approved. Then you need to speak up to your community leads, and you need to try and see if they can get you some type of some type of incentives for that. Okay. And
Yeah.
then the community leads or the country leads, let's see, I know you can find them in over here, country leads and ambassadors. So if you're not sure who's your country leads, you can go and search the base docs for country leads, and you'll see there's a list over here. And if you click on them, I think it's got all their socials. So you can reach out. But you know how it works, guys. You're not going to send one message and the guy responds, because these guys are also busy with a whole lot of other things. So it's to follow them, send a DM, comment in their timeline, like, be consistent, but don't harass, right? You got to stalk people in a way that is not irritating. So you shouldn't be like a spam bot or becoming across aggressive. You got to like engage, right? Engage.
Yeah.
You're on the positive side. Always lean towards, progress and being progressive and adding value, as opposed to being critical and pulling down. So that's the secret to, getting social media engagement. You're dealing with human beings. So yeah, so this is how you engage them. So you might not get them in their DMs, but be there in the socials. If you can't get one person, go and check out which one is most active. There might be a guy maybe in East Asia who's more active than a guy in, let's say, North America, right? So try and
Yeah.
get the attention of the guy who's very active, because then it means he's reading more socials and is communicating more perhaps with the community. So you just also need to be smart, because getting attention in this world, guys, is just like trying to sell something. Whether you're selling your startup, whether you're trying to reach for someone's attention, the rules are always the same. You just need to be smart about it. You need to find little ways. You need to engage. You need to be polite. You need to be, not
Yeah.
aggressive or whatever, and you need to be like, add value, I guess. So these are human beings you're dealing with. So they respond to real human emotions. So yeah, even on social media, emotions are real. So yeah, just a tip for those that are trying to engage people online. But yeah, there are those different ways to, pick up issues, especially now, guys. We last week we spoke about the Immunify bounty that's happening, and I think there's a couple of guys that couldn't KYC, but it turned out there was an issue on Immunify's KYC process that was actually limiting some people from KYCing, but I think it was resolved. One of the guys said it was resolved, meaning that
Awesome.
anybody should be able to KYC now. Yeah. Did you try, Lloyd?
To KYC?
Yeah, on Immunify.
I had started my KYC even the last time, if you remember.
Yeah,
The only reason why I didn't finish it is because you need to reach level 25, and I just didn't like connect my other features. So you can use Web 2 or Web 3. So if you're using Web 3, that's using a profile or an account that shows that you've been active for a particular amount or period of time, or signing into I think some dApps, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
I'll probably finish it later.
Yeah, so this is Immunify's dashboard. I've got it open here. Where
Yeah,
is the button for dark mode? Where is
it
that?
must be profile, or maybe they don't have it. Do they? It's got the bottom.
Everybody makes dark mode so difficult to find now. I have no idea what's happened to the internet, guys. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe they want to push agents to use the internet and not us, because this is so bright, it's killing my eyes. Yeah, I'm just trying to darken the screen. I hope you don't darken it for everybody.
No,
Okay, but still, that's not nice. But anyway, it's fine. So this is the Immunify dashboard, where you can go and submit the bounties for. Let me see. The one for base would be where you won't find it under bounties. You will find it under. Where did we find it?
Audit. Check audit.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
audit. Okay, yes, you're right. Yeah,
yeah.
audit competition base Azul. There we go. Okay, so there's 6 days to go for the base Azul. So for anybody who is good in picking up bugs, Lloyd, I think, gave us a proper explanation of what to look out for, and where. So it's for the blockchain layer and the smart contracts. So
Yeah.
yeah, there are some rewards for that. Um, and you do need to KYC to submit a bug.
Yeah, to
Okay.
submit the bug.
So
Yeah.
that, yeah. So somebody did say that something was. So anybody who probably tried to submit last week and there was some issue, I think it's been resolved now. So you can go ahead and KYC.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Can you try to click your verify identity to see if it's giving you the feature that I had as well? There we
Mhm.
go. The human. Remember, one of these wasn't. You only had the ZK passport the last
Yeah,
time. The human
yeah.
passport wasn't. Yeah. So just click
All
that.
right. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
now
So
that's showing. I don't know if it came because you connected your wallet.
I,
Is
I
your
I didn't
wallet
do
connected?
anything. So perhaps that was the bug
Yeah,
that the guy
perhaps.
was talking about, right? So maybe that
Yeah.
was the bug. But yeah, it's clearly been solved. So I think more people can try to KYC.
Yeah, because now you
Yeah.
can pick whether you want to use your wallet or you can use the platform. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty
Okay.
dope.
Yeah. So for anybody trying to earn themselves a few coins, you can go and check out. But there's also a repo. Let me have a look. Where are they submitting these bugs? I remember last time I clicked somewhere and then it opened the
So
the
you click
actual
the
repo
scope.
of where these are gonna.
So you have to click
Where
the
is it?
scope on top of your screen. So
Oh, the
information
scope.
next scope.
Okay.
Yeah. So to give you the repo, so you can pick the blockchain or the
Okay.
smart
So this
contract.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. So last time I think I clicked the blockchain. Let's see the smart contract one.
Yeah. For submitting, you
Okay.
have to submit
Oh no, I did click. Hmm. Okay, so those are the two links for or implement smart contracts in Base Azul, and then on the blockchain, DLT off-chain components. Okay, maybe smart contracts will probably have more people. Let me go and have a look.
Yeah, I think for a quick tip to people that
Mhm.
maybe who want to like hit this head on, the smart contracts are definitely where people will go and find bugs if they haven't been found yet. But most of the times they do put in a lot of effort in finding bugs in the smart contracts because they
Mhm.
are most of the times they're heavily audited. Not saying that you won't
Yeah.
find any bugs there, but they
Mhm.
are quite heavily audited. However,
Mm.
when you're looking at the other repos, the ones under like the blockchain,
Mm.
that repo. So that repo has got a little bit more, um, I would say data and I'll just say layers compared to just a smart
Mm.
contract. So if there are bugs, there's a high chance you'll find them in there.
Mm.
So that's just a tip for those who want to start
Yeah.
somewhere.
And I think before you just go ahead and submit, just also go and have a look, see if somebody has already done it and submitted. So your efforts are not wasted on trying to fix something that's already been solved.
Yeah.
It might maybe not be merged, but it might still be sitting under, submitted issues, or there might be a pull request for it, So yeah, please check out, do your due diligence on what you're going to work on so you don't spend the next 2 days hoping you're going to get something and it's already been solved or somebody's already worked on it and submitted it. Okay. And then I think in real time, you can go and see also what's been accepted and what's been declined, etc., etc. So yeah, that's nice
Yeah,
to see.
there's still like one extra since the last time we looked at it. So the last time we had two, and I've seen an additional one at the
Yes.
top. It says backport
Mm.
feed boot node. Yeah, so
Okay.
pretty
All right.
interesting.
Yeah. So then, yeah, that's for anybody who wants to participate in um, the bug bounty competition. There's $250,000 being given away. So yeah, and of course, the Minify platform will let you know what the different prize pools are, etc., etc. Okay. So yeah, so for
Yeah,
those that have this sort of skill, or want to learn, then this is a good approach to earn yourself something in the meantime. Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
so that's Base Azul covered. I think we've kind of like covered some of the stuff I had in mind today. Was there anything maybe, Lloyd, that you had in mind that we need to cover today as well?
No, not really. I mean, we did talk about the base student track. So
Yeah.
like I had mentioned, if there's any students listening and you want to talk about like your experience, you can hit us up in the comment section, or you can position yourself for our Thursday session where you can come and even potentially showcase your project that you applied for. So yeah,
And I think
and
it's
if I'm not
important to
mistaken,
note that,
yeah,
yeah, it's important to note that even after the deadline is closed and you've submitted, you can still make edits and on your code. You can still try and get users. Obviously, try and get traction because there's a long time between submitting, especially for the student track, until like because you see applications close 27th, and then demo day is in, they said late May. Okay, so it's around the corner. I thought it was going to be much later in the year, actually. All right, so demo day is pretty close. But I think still within that time, excuse me, there's time to get yourself some type of traction because
Yeah.
nowadays, since everybody uses AI to build, everything's about traction, so get users onto your platform, run a social media campaign, make some noise. If the DevFolio thing is open to public, you can get users to, or your friends or community to go and upvote your application. I'm not sure if that's the case this time around, but that was the case last time where you could see other projects or see who submitted and you could then get votes on that. So I'm not sure if that's the case this time around. But ultimately, traction is where it's at. Get some users, get your first 100 users. And of course, if you get users, then you need to go to the base dashboard and submit your app on base dashboard. If it's an agent, look out for agent builder codes, right? I think I saw somebody say they were coming up. I mean, there are ways around adding builder codes to agent transactions, which is X42 transactions. You can like literally build your own custom thing where you give your agent a wallet, give it a private key, and then allow it to transact via that wallet. And then you add the builder codes to the transactions that are done in that wallet. So that's one approach. But I think there is some type of workaround that they're working on to make it easier. But ultimately, it's important to get your app on the leaderboard, right? Because that is proof of traction, right? So you need to get your users. So the best thing is if you've submitted anything for an app or even agents, you want to up your numbers, want to up your transactions, and you want them trackable on the leaderboard. So you need to come and sign up on Base Dashboard. If you have an agent and it's doing X42 transactions, see if you can be able to give it a wallet. Yeah, you probably need to do your own custom thing because you can't exactly give it the smart wallet because it doesn't have private keys that are exposed. I think it does. It does now. I think it does actually. I might be wrong. Let me see. I saw private key somewhere when I was backing up my wallet. So I could be wrong. I think it does. Yeah, but just check that one out because I normally use MetaMask. But if you want to build the codes, then you want to use a base smart account. So see if you can get the private key, give it to your agent, but also be careful, like, that it doesn't expose it. So yeah, there's a couple of hacks and workarounds that you must do to increase security, but then you are able to get your agent on the leaderboard, which is what's very important, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where is the leaderboard? Where is leaderboard? Oh, it's now app rankings. Okay. So if you can't find it, click on app rankings, and then of course you want to get, at least be within the top 100. Okay, because it only goes up to top 50. So you want to be, in the top 50, sorry. And then of course the leaderboard, guys, requires a minimum of like 42 weekly transacting users for you to be able to count on the leaderboard. And I think it needs to be unique wallets. And you need to have added the builder codes. Okay, so you can find builder codes also within settings. So there's a builder code over there which you copy, and then the base docs provide you all of that. So we've gone through that in the past, but just remember you can configure the same for AI agents. It's just a manual workaround. So maybe reach out to us or go to the Discord if you need help with that type of thing, and then we'll be able to set some time to help you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else that we need to cover on this live, Mr. Lloyd? Anything else coming up soon?
soon from like my side, I have a talk I think on the 4th of May. It's part of the Pairs X Africa talk. So it's an AI conference that I'm going to be participating in. So that's something that's also been keeping me busy. So it's going to be an informal fringe event for something called the RightsCon. So this year's RightsCon is going to be in Zambia. So that's
Nice.
where I'll be speaking. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you going to be taking any base banners there? You know, those hackathon banners we used to have. Are you going to set up in the corner there for base? Or you just going to be representing?
I would like that. It would be dope to
Mhm.
do that. But I was planning on just having like mentions in my presentation for my
Yeah.
AI work. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, that's safe. On my side, there's no announcements. But just to advise everybody to keep looking out for content upgrades. If you're struggling with something and it looks like you've been trying to fix something, trying to register on the database dashboard, your notifications maybe are giving an error, pull up to the Discord, and then we've got a dedicated team to assist. But in some instances, it might just be waiting a day or two until the team fixes it. But
Yeah.
do pull up to the Discord so you stay updated to everything that's going on and you're more informed. Yeah. So yeah, that's it on my end.
Yeah.
Okay, so word of the day, Lloyd, because we're almost coming to the hour.
Yeah. Word of the day, guys. Save your prompts. Because the models have become like very, very intelligent. Try to figure out how you can rewrite your prompts and also tell the model to give you less explanations unless you're looking for explanations and more coding, because most of these models are charged per token input and per token output. And there's also another one on the middle that I haven't mentioned. But yeah, that's how most of these models are charged. And if you look at the frontier models, like I keep saying, these big new are quite costly. So, output is always more expensive than input. So if you find a way to, tell the AI to, if you're building code, to build more code and give you like less explanations unless you need them, then yeah, it would be ideal. Most of the IDEs are also giving out like free, I would say free models that you can use when these big frontier models have rate limited you. So you can use those to kind of explain certain things for yourself rather than, using Claude 4.7 to just explain what your project is about, because it's still going to use your credits and your prompts. So yeah, play around with how you can save your prompts when building, so you can have your projects done without really spending too much.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my end, I think one thing I've picked up, so if you use, centralized exchanges in South Africa, you might have seen notifications from them to encourage you, to submit your input on the new regulations that have been tabled. So yeah, I'm going to give it a look also and submit, but it looks like it's an important time for our, for using these technologies on our side of the world. So yeah, go in there and comment. So if you're somebody from Base, you represent Base, or you're within Coinbase, etc., and you are within our region, or you would like, Coinbase to be based locally and to be able to access some of these services, yeah, go out and make your comments and from your input, yeah, and see if there's a lot of concerns around that. So I just want you guys to to let you know to look out for that and submit your comments. And yeah, so we as an ecosystem are pretty active around that. So yeah, you'll see that a lot of entities have taken an approach to address these concerns. So since we're builders in this space, it does affect us. We're entrepreneurs in this space. Regulation doesn't affect us. So there's public comment that's been available for the new regulations, which we should also make an effort to, have our say within the South African context, that is. But keeping in mind that whatever, is normally adopted on the South African context, it normally applies or, spills over to the region, to Southern Africa, because we kind of like, we're the SADC region. So there's already a RAND monetary common union where you have South Africa, Eswatini, Namibia, all using a RAND pegged currency. And then there's all the trade. So, and there's a lot of remittances in the region, right? So yeah, so it does in a way affect the region. So yeah, so making those comments, even if you're outside, so if you see something maybe from a Zambian perspective, you're seeing something from Botswana or Eswatini, and you feel that, you have a startup and you want to work within the region, not just in your own country, but maybe you want to do remittances in the region, or you want to, to get users across the region. I think you should also find a way to submit, because it does affect all our businesses, all our startups, and how we do things. So yeah, that's my word of the day. Look out for that, guys. It's open, I think, until the 18th of May. I might be mistaken on the date, but yeah, it's sometime in May. So please, every input counts on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it on my end. Lloyd, thank you very much for coming through. And to all our viewers who came through, thank you once again. We will catch you on Thursday, 1 p.m. Central African time, for the Builder Office Hours. So have a good evening, guys. And catch you on Thursday. Thank you.
Yeah,
Cheers.
BM, guys.